everyone, and welcome back to our podcast in Bite Size. Today, we're thrilled to bring back Shivang, a visionary leader with decades of experience shaping impactful solutions through innovative thinking. Known for his expertise in product leadership and his ability to drive end to end value, as stated in our previous podcast, Shivang joins us to explore why human centered AI is the future of designing technology that truly serves people. So, Shivang, thank you so much for joining us again. Let's just dive right in it. So, in your view, what is human centered thinking and why is it such a pivotal approach when organizations design and deploy AI systems?
Thanks to Sandra for that intro, firstly. And I'm super excited to be back, and especially with this topic. Before I go to human-centered design approach, I just wanted to kind of emphasize. I mean, we are hearing this everywhere, but I just want to re-emphasize that this AI revolution, what we are calling it as the fourth industrial revolution, it's really a pivotal moment where we are redesigning how humans interact with digital systems. We are even going as far as people saying that apps will cease to exist. We will be interacting with agents, and if that is the future where towards which we are heading, I would say that we want to build systems which are built around human values, which are built around humans and for humans. So I kind of want to quote a very famous researcher. She's a professor at Stanford, Dr. Fei Li, and she kind of says that basically AI is just a tool. It does not have its own values. What values it has are human values. So
Mm.
essentially that kind of stuck with me, and I whenever I'm doing some consulting, or maybe I'm sitting just listening in what people are doing with artificial intelligence, it kind of looks like there's a lot of time to market pressure that builds up, where we end up rolling solutions without thinking about inclusivity, without thinking about explainability, without thinking about how these AI systems are at the end of the day going to interact with my customers and what is the impact it's going to cause. So as a product leader, or in general as a tech leader, one should focus on building a system in their company or in their organization where we focus largely on not just solving the problem with technical advances, but rather than really focusing on these factors like inclusivity, explainability in AI. The entire design system should be so that we have almost all sorts of user profiles and personas are covered in that. And I think the most important aspect of human centered design in artificial intelligence is that I think I want to quote Satya Nadella here, is that he said artificial intelligence, the trust is not built, it's earned. So if you are building an AI system around human values, it's going to help you a lot in building that trust, with the end user. And it's going to ease out a lot of these backlashes that these AI companies are facing. You just look back to any of these alpha releases, beta releases that happened. Maybe it's I don't want to name each of these, but you have plethora of examples where AI systems have had a serious backlash. um, uh, and I think those occur when there's a super high chance that you went to the market without even having that human element in that AI system. So at the end of the day, what I want is, since we are redesigning everything, we are no more in the internet era or the cloud era, we are in the AI era now. I want leaders to think about designing systems around human values, having human values, so that we have better and more inclusive AI systems going forward.
Oh, well said, well said. I mean, I appreciate how you summarized it. Like, is that these are tools to help us, right, to be more effective and overall. It's not just about efficiency and moving things around. So it's just about what can how can we leverage it to essentially improve our lives at the end of the day. So yeah. So I guess to continue on our conversation here, um, for organizations potentially just starting out on their journey with AI, what are some foundational steps they can take to ensure human-centered principles guide their approach?
I think the first I don't want to talk about the entire human centered principles, but I want to emphasize on the values that you need to derive before even going to the product development phase. I think first of all, you need to understand that what kind of data you are playing around with. If you Now this is across industry. If you are in healthcare, you really need to think about the privacy of the user. You really need to think about the emotional or the empathetic responses so let's just take an example. You are
Mhm.
developing mental support or a support kind of a chatbot for hospitals or for clinics, and in that you really need to understand what kind of questions you can ask to your patients, what kind of responses your chatbot should give. Those should be supervised. You cannot just leave that AI model to keep thinking and responding in all way possible. At this point, the empathy that we learn in our product principles, we have been learning it, hearing it long, that okay, product managers should be empathetic. This is the point where it's actually most important. Then again, another thing is that I feel whenever you're implementing an AI system, always before rolling it out, think about how you can build that trust, how you can make your users trust to share information with your system, so that I mean, we all heard about this entire Ghibli trend that's going on, right?
Mhm,
There
mhm.
is a big school of thought that's coming out there where we did feed a lot of our personal images to OpenAI. They kind of converted it, made it into that Ghibli effect. They gave us back, but what happened to our data? I'm
Mhm.
not trying to basically scare here, but it would be beneficial if you have a system where it's very transparent that okay, if a user does not want you to retain that data, you clearly in the first interaction give users that choice that your data will be deleted after this chat is over, right? It's
Mhm.
not going to be used for training, it's not going to be used for any future research purposes. So this kind of transparency needs to be there. All of these elements will build that trust. Now another thing which I think organizations need to think inward, is that okay, are we improve with the adoption of AI, are we actually looking for value improvement, or are we just looking for vanity metrics or the vanity value of the product? If you are really kind of looking at value improvement, then essentially you need to think about okay, uh, do I just think about my revenue metrics, or do I also think about my adoption and retention metrics?
Mm.
Because if you have good adoption, but if the retention is not good, at the end of the day, in the long run, you're not going to make money out of it. And I will give you a staggering stats out of it. I just was researching it this morning. Gartner and McKinsey did their independent research on the failure rate of AI projects, just because we are not building around human-centered values, and the number is like 70 to 85% of AI projects do fail in the first 3 years, and
Mm.
that's a huge staggering number. That means there is this foundational error in the approach of how we are rolling out these AI systems. So I think having that trust, building that trust, having that user empathy depending on your domain or on your industry, and having the understanding of what value you are delivering with this AI solution that you're rolling out. These three are the most important areas that any kind of leader should look at when they're building or basically when they're adopting AI.
Yeah, and those are still things that, we should be thinking about today, whether we are adopting AI or not. So, I mean, as you said, it's like trust, that empathy, and, what do we want to deliver? It's not just the money you get, but as you said, acquisition, retention. Are we actually growing our user base? It's the same user base and so forth. And are our customers happy and beyond that? So, my final question to you, in a short and simple, sweet way, can you say what is one bold step a digital leader can take today to embrace human centered AI within their org?
Okay, that's a tough one. Just squeezing it down to one. I think I would say the most important is really understanding your user journey and the interaction points. If you have a very in-depth understanding of how your user is interacting with your AI system, it will help you open the doors across all the HAI related points that we talked about. I mean, try to understand without capturing that. I mean, what we do these days is, okay, let's just capture this data, that data, it will help us in training. I mean, that is good at one part, but I think we should uh, really look at UXR, how user research is done, apply different user research techniques, employ people who are basically experts in ethics and explainability principles, and essentially use their expertise to design all the systems. Of course, having a great model, having a great transformer and all of that is good, but I think it's equally important to do that UXR, and have that ethics committee, and having that those people on your board before you even proceed with development of such kind of products. I think that's one of the most important points.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense. As you said, essentially just be intentional, right? Like as you said, what's the user journey? What's the interaction points? How can you leverage, your user research, your UX design teams, and so forth, and include them early in the conversation, right? Don't take them as an afterthought. So yeah, thank you so much, Shivang, for sharing so much of these good details, those foundational steps, what one bold step that we can take. We're so happy that you can join us, and potentially we'll continue the conversation in a future episode. So thanks
Sure.
for joining us, and until next time, y'all, take care.